Did you know that Twitch viewership doesn't actually indicate what the best games or the most fun games in any given year are? I know it's a radical concept for an audience of streamers, but I see so many people that just constantly rag on games. If they're not big on Twitch, they're not the best games. But we're gonna get some fellow streamers and content creators from my Discord here together, and we're gonna talk about our picks for Game of the Year. And this isn't Game of the Year as in games that came out this year, but the games that we played and had the most fun with this year, because some of us get some weird choices going. Also, this video is put together by that guy.
Hi, I'm Technically Alex, and I'd like to say a big thanks to Epos for having me on. We got a lot of great games to cover today, so let's get started with mine, okay? Look here, listen, okay? My pick for Game of the Year is Halo Infinite. It's got a wide open sandbox multiplayer with diegetic gameplay mechanics like being able to use the repulsor to boop this bot into another bot sentinel beam, kill it. I can boop these two dudes off the map, that's sick. I could shoot the grenade pickup on the ground and blow someone up with the explosion. It's just awesome. Plus you can hop on top of your friend's Wasp and yeet across the map. On top of that, Halo Infinite's campaign opens up a whole new chapter of the Halo universe that stays true to the franchise's roots, sheds all the needless distractions of the recent titles, and lets you loose in a world tailor-made for Master Chief's particular brand of mayhem. Plus exploding barrels are everywhere. Gotta love it. Now I would love to spend the rest of this segment talking just about Halo Infinite and how good it is. But I think it represents the elephant in the room for gaming during a pandemic that we have to talk about. COVID has become a never-ending hellscape permeating every facet of our lives. Gaming and virtual worlds became more important because the pandemic made escapism vital to our survival. The pandemic has legitimized virtual experiences, not just as a form of entertainment, but as a mainstream means of social interaction. We couldn't socialize in the real world for months at a time without risking our lives and the lives of everyone around us. So the virtual world offered not just a reprieve from the violence being inflicted on us by COVID, but a way of functioning as the social creatures that we are. But when many of those games and virtual worlds people turned to for an escape from the pandemic had missing features, content, or just ran really poorly, the escape from reality comes crashing down around you, shattering the illusion that you aren't living in a dystopian nightmare. Plus, corporations like Facebook realized VR is going to be the next frontier for exploiting labor, souring the whole concept of virtual existence. It's the ultimate intersection of wanting nothing more than to escape reality, only for reality to chase you through the unexplored chasm separating the virtual from the real and forcing you to take the blue pill. Halo Infinite is undeniably fantastic, but the controversy surrounding its progression and monetization at launch is still haunting the conversations people have about it across social media, Reddit, YouTube, basically anywhere people talk about games. Halo has always rewarded committed players with interesting cosmetics. But Infinite says you can't have those things unless you pay up and grind for thousands of hours. It feels so exploitative, and yet none of it matters. It's just skins for a virtual avatar. Before the pandemic, people probably would have shrugged off Halo Infinite's grindy microtransaction nonsense as the growing pains of a franchise just dipping its toes into the sea of live service complexity. But because it seemingly robs players of their agency and demands more than they're willing to give at a time where an invisible enemy is taking everything dear to us away, it undermines everything, even the excellent gameplay. Ultimately, Halo Infinite and the way we talk about it will be just fine. People will move on, the developers will improve the progression system, and a year from now we'll all be reveling in the joy that is a feature-rich Halo title. But I think it's worth mentioning the outrage because it hurts so much to see, even if it is deserved in some way. For me at least, the pandemic has given taking out our frustrations on each other about trivial things a gravity it never had before. What I used to just ignore as internet noise has turned into a splinter I can't work free. Maybe that's my fault, maybe I'm the splinter working its way too deep. Or maybe we're all in this pandemic together and the only way out is by caring more about the important stuff like how great Halo Infinite actually is, and less about the cat ears they're charging $10 for. Anyway, that's been my time. I'm Technically Alex. I'm gonna hand it over to the next person to talk about their game of the year. I'm sure it'll be fantastic. Thank you for watching, and stay safe. Or try to, I guess. I don't know.
If there's one thing I learned this year about video games, making them is hard, especially during these COVID times, seeing delay after delay from the various game studios. So even though I played games like Resident Evil Village, Halo Infinite, and Age of Empires 4 to name a few, none of them is the game I played the most this year. That title goes to Gran Turismo 6 is my game of the year for 2021. How did I end up here? Well, after Sony initially wanted to close the PSN store back in April, there were exclusive games I missed that were still exclusive to the PS3 that I never got a chance to play. So I impulse bought my first PS3 on eBay. Gran Turismo was one of my favorite series growing up, playing the second and fourth entries multiple times throughout the years. But with the PS3, I started with Gran Turismo 5, but I ended up playing 6 the most due to the amount of content and restructuring of events it has done. Some special events include the Goodwood Festival Hill of Speed, which is basically driving 15 cars across the famous hill climb track in short time trials. Sierra Time Rally, a 27-kilometer long circuit testing your overtaking and clean line racing skills to get the high score with combos. Then my personal favorite event, the Lunar Exploration, which you can take a guess. Yeah, it's Lunar Rover on the moon. Low gravity sucks, but just driving one in the game just feels satisfying. And you're on the moon. How cool is that? With so many entries in the series, one of the things that surprised me in GT6 is some of the new tracks. For example, the Matterhorn area has 4 different variations of its tracks and just looks fun driving around a fictional town going up and down the Alps at 150 miles an hour plus. Then you have Special Stage Route X. You want the Need for Speed? Pun intended. Then this track is for you. Just tune your car for max speed and transmission and go ham. Finally, Go-Karts was introduced in GT5, but they expanded in GT6 to have more events, and it even has its own courses, with Kart Space being my favorite. Of course, some of the classic courses to return, including Trial Mountain, which brought nostalgic feels to save some seconds off the track. Well, it did before. Laguna Seca and its corkscrew part of the track that I definitely failed multiple times back when I was a kid. Finally, Nürburgring, the ever-famous German racetrack that is still hard as hell to do, especially now that they added the Grand Prix variants of the tracks. What attracted me to the Gran Turismo series, though, is the amount of cars you can have. There was one special car that always made my simulation mode well worth it. Stunning in its blue and white livery, the Minolta Toyota 88C-V89. It really sucks the legacy of this game being stuck on the PS3, even though it was released 1 month after the launch of the PS4. But as a fan of this series and seeing how Gran Turismo Sport went, I am cautious for Gran Turismo 7. Cheers to Gran Turismo 6, my game of the year of 2021.
Speed, violence, momentum. Get the heck out of here with that Roblox. Yo, my name is Matty Fresh. I am coming to you this year with my game of the year pick. My pick, obviously, as you can see right now, is indeed Apex Legends. Apex Legends is something I've put a lot of time into since launch, nearly 3 years ago at this point. In my opinion, I just love the speed of the game, the fact that you've got various ways to attack the game, whether it's a slower approach and kind of sniping your enemies from far, or, you know, going W key warrior mode, getting deep in it, lighting people up with a Havoc, getting up close in their face with a 9-9. There's so many different ways you can approach this game. The ranked playstyle, while can be toxic at times, is an absolute blast. You know, it's something that can truly test your ability against similarly skilled players. Ranked is something I've personally put a lot of time into over the last 3 years here, and it's something that, you know, I'm trying to get better at every day. If something with, you know, speed, multiple guns, multiple play styles is something that's up your alley, at this point, honestly, Apex Legends is just one of those games that is an absolute blast to play. They have, you know, introduced multiple different limited time modes. You know, right now we've got the Winter Express train ride. That's an absolute blast with some friends for some low pressure fun. You know, you've got your normal pub style games as well. And then, of course, like I've already talked about, the ranked play style. In my opinion, this game is a solid 9 out of 10. With the time I've put in, you know, the blast I've had playing with friends and meeting new people, this is by far my game of the year. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Hey, it's me, the Tea Queen Lilyth Lorraine here, and my game of the year for 2021 is the adorable little Souls-like called Death's Door. Lovingly referred to as Burb Souls by the community, this little action-adventure isometric RPG published by Devolver Digital has been a fantastic mix between exploration and difficulty, which is the perfect formula for a Souls-like. It follows the pretty bog-standard formula of Souls-likes, you know, go kill the big 3 menacing souls, collect their souls, and open the final door to the final boss fight. And While it can be predictable, I still found it really challenging and fun. As someone who's getting a bit older, a bit slower, a bit busier, I don't always have time to sit down and burn the midnight oil and fight the hardest Souls boss on the planet. I'm looking at you, Amidala. Death's Doors, few boss fights and challenging enemies just fill the itch enough to leave you wanting more. The story was compelling, which is a lot to say for a Souls-like. The characters were fun and strange. Looking at you, hothead. The weapon selection and character upgrading wasn't overwhelming, and honestly, I just played with the dual blades the entire game because they were fun and the extra combo hit was exciting. The character upgrading back at Reaper HQ made you think about your choices a little bit more due to the scarcity of upgrading points, and while the game wasn't very long, just like my segment of the Game of the Year video, it only took about 15 hours to get through. It was fun and exciting and enjoyable, and in this era of COVID where things can seem so dark and bleak, it was really fun to go around smacking things with wooden swords as a bird.
In 2003, the NBA was at odds with the culture surrounding the league. Yet to fully accept hip-hop and constantly feuding with players like Allen Iverson for multiple reasons, there was a game that came out in defiance of all of this. While the NBA rejected the culture, EA Big surprisingly accepted it and put together a team that could deliver an authentic experience. NBA Street Volume 2 was the product of EA going all in. The gameplay, while fun and easy to pick up, was hard to master. The art style compared to Volume 1 was stylistically jazzy and soulful, with each character design feeling like it just came off a retro basketball poster. Based off street art and murals, paired with smooth and funky gameplay, made for and still makes for one of the best video game experiences out there. This and the Be a Legend mode that potentially changed sports games for the better, with multiple games over the years adopting a My Player mode based off of it. Each game mode had something to offer and added a ton of replayability. You had everything from Own the Court to an early My Player mode where you created a quote-unquote legend and fought to dominate iconic courts. Speaking of courts, real iconic courts like Rucker Park, Soul in the Hole, and others helped create an authentic experience, giving fans a virtual look at basketball's mecca, so to say. But there was one big thing missing, though.
The style that was started in New York permeated and affected college basketball and NBA basketball, and we're still seeing that ripple effect even to today.
Yeah, that's Babito Garcia, DJ, street baller, director, author, and even more importantly, co-host the late radio program Stretch and Babito, probably one of the most culturally important pieces of work in hip-hop to date. Bringing DJ Cucumber Slice on brought authenticity and even more importantly, a focal flow of creativity and passion with vernacular that still persists today on courts all around the world. Pair that with a short but sweet soundtrack by Jess Blaze, and you have one of the better hip-hop soundtracks in video game history. As a kid, this game was an important tastemaker, and it was one of the first games I sunk hundreds of hours into. And revisiting it now, I can see myself sinking a couple hundred more.
My pick for Game of the Year is probably not going to be super surprising, but I am going to put a little twist on it in that my pick is Halo. But not just like Halo Infinite. In fact, at the time of recording, I haven't even had time to finish the campaign, and I've put a lot of hours into multiplayer already, that's fine. But just Halo as a franchise, because this year saw not only Halo Infinite launch, claw back the esports relevance, break multiple back-to-back records in terms of their, major viewership for their esports tournaments, and what seems to be a fantastic campaign, but it also saw a lot of improvements, updates, quality of life fixes, and awesome skins released into Master Chief Collection. And I put most of my time this year, since Infinite wasn't out until just now, into the Halo Master Chief Collection. And they have completely turned it around, thinking about what a sad, sorry state it was in 2014 when it launched and promised to be this big Halo collection, to what it is now as just like a masterpiece, a representation of everything Halo is and can be. I'm so glad we have it. I'm so glad 343 and Microsoft were able to put in the effort to turn it into what it is, and I look forward to continue playing it for years. Like, Infinite's gonna be great, that's fine, but I'm still gonna keep coming back to Master Chief Collection, and it's kind of sad that the 360 servers for Halo 3, Reach, and ODST are being shut down, but I think that I can be content with it knowing that we got Halo Master Chief Collection to where it is, in this short amount of time. It's still not finished, I guess. There are still some fixes and some differences compared to the original Xbox versions, but it's great, and Halo Infinite is turning out to be incredible, and the esports, the HCS coming back is just stellar. I could go on and on forever, but this was the year of Halo, and I didn't know that I'd be saying that ever again past like 2010, so I couldn't be more happier.
When I sat down to record this video, I was originally going to talk to you about Gears Tactics, and why that was my game of the year. As you know, we do things different around here, and it's less about the best game that came out this year, and more about what games we thought were the best that we played this year. The more I thought about it, the more I realized I didn't just play Gears Tactics. I also played The Ascent. I played Hades. I played Dead Cells. I reignited my obsession with Geometry Wars. And I got into the Yakuza series and became thoroughly obsessed with the legend that is Kazuma Kiryu. The more astute of you out there will probably have figured out the connection between all of these games. They're all on Game Pass. I was lucky enough to get my hands on an Xbox Series X and an Xbox Series S this year. And when I wasn't up late with friends playing Halo Infinite, I could be found out in my living room grinding out new Gears ability trees and thoroughly falling down the cyberpunk hole that is The Ascent. As I've gotten older, my spare time has become more valuable to me. Spending any amount of those precious moments after work struggling with something that isn't working is frustrating and the quickest way to turn me off of a game. It was so refreshing to sit down and be able to pick up exactly where I left off with Xbox Instant Resume. Let me give you an example. For the first time in years, I took a vacation this past summer, and I took my Xbox Series S with me. When I had everything hooked up in the Airbnb, something happened that blew my mind. Not only was my save there, but my Instant Resume was still there. All of the Instant Resumes that I had on my Series X, that I had started hundreds of miles from where I was there on my Series S. It persisted across consoles. So I was able to pick up where I left off as if I never left. The performance, the visuals, all of it was flawless and instant. In any other scenario, I'd probably have to update something or download my save, or at worst, my save wouldn't come over and I'd have to start over. Microsoft has found a way to make playing your games anytime, anywhere, nearly seamless, and most importantly, they respect your time. So yes, this is a bit of a cop-out, but I can't overstate how wonderful it is that technology like this exists today. Just being able to purchase a device for $299 that has a library of over 150 plus games, new AAA releases, and a tremendous back catalog of legacy titles. And all of this is seamless and instant. I played far more games this year because of Xbox. So for that reason, I'm giving my game of the year to Xbox.
Hey guys, Turtle here. This year my game of the year is Deep Rock Galactic. Deep Rock Galactic is a 1 to 4 person cooperative first-person action adventure game where you play as dwarves diving into mines for rare resources. There are 4 classes to play depending on how you like to play. The 4 classes are Engineer, Gunner, Driller, and Scout. Each class has their own XP and items, so every time you play a different class, it's kind of like playing a different character. But I do recommend trying all of them and seeing what you like and what things each class brings to the table. Select a job in your base and then are dropped into a specific area. You're tasked with collecting resources, killing any creatures you come across, and have some optional objectives for bonus resources and experience. The game uses procedurally generated cave systems, sort of like Minecraft, and this makes it so that every time you go into a specific area or on a specific mission, that it's always something new. The game builds a really nice atmosphere, and it's one of the things that I like best about the game. Procedural caves and the atmosphere and the environments are just, often they're beautiful, and they can also be a lot of fun to traverse as well. The environments are destructible too, which is pretty cool. You have a little robot friend with you on solo missions that can help you mine things in hard to reach places, and you can give them more abilities as you upgrade them over time. This is basically the replacement for co-op if you don't have friends to play with. The game's really well optimized, the art style is pretty cool, the gameplay is pretty chaotic, but it's always a lot of fun. The game gets constant updates, and the community is really awesome as well. They just added mod support, which is the gameplay you're watching. I have some mods enabled. One interesting thing about the game is that it supports up to 25 different languages. This game is played all over the world, and a lot of modders and community members have become translators for the game. Alright, well, that wraps it up for me, guys. Have a Merry Christmas, great holiday season, all that good stuff. Thanks to Epos and the community for having me on this year's Game of the Year video.
Hey guys, this is StereoSniper, and my Game of the Year for 2021 is... crap. 2021 marked 2 milestones for the game that is the greatest to some and the bane of others' existence. November 18th was the 10-year anniversary of the first official release of Minecraft, the Adventure Update. About a month later, on December 15th, YouTube began its celebration as Minecraft recorded 1 trillion views across the site. While the game has grown from a simple sandbox into, as some have put it, a gaming service all its own, the open-endedness is what brings players back again and again. Despite having both a dimension and an achievement called The End, you never truly finish the game. Once you beat the Ender Dragon and see an achievement pop up on your screen, you are taken back to your spawn point to continue playing and building as you see fit. Want to build a castle to defend your hoard of golden diamonds? Go for it. Want to experiment with redstone and design an automatic farm? Have fun. If you're lost on what to do or build, sites like YouTube and Planet Minecraft are a rabbit hole of inspiration. For those that want a different Minecraft experience, the possibilities are endless. From adventure maps to puzzle maps to minigames, there's even a good chance that one or more of your favorite games have been recreated. Take it a step further and you have mods and mod packs that push the limits of what can truly be called Minecraft. To me and to a lot of other players, what stands out the most about this game is that it is still being supported and updated a full 10 years later. Most games that have seen that kind of lifespan are games like CSGO, where not much about the core game changes from update to update. With the latest update to Minecraft version 1.18, almost the entirety of the world generation code was changed. Whether you have been playing for 10 years, started playing recently, have never played, or will never play, Minecraft will forever be a massive part of gaming history.
Hello, my name is Kujoe, and I wanted to talk to you about my Game of the Year. This year, my Game of the Year is New World. Yes, I know. Don't have to tell me it's not a good game. I'm fully aware, but it is my favorite game, so I'm going to pick that as my Game of the Year. I've been having a lot of fun with my friends. It's been an experience, to say the least. I think that it's come a long way, but it needs a lot of work still. And I am fully aware of all the memes out there, and yes, they are true. Okay, so I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate for this choice, but I personally think that New World is a lot of fun. It's slightly addicting. It's probably the best MMO I've played in a long time. I've been waiting for a game like this, and to be honest, I wasn't expecting to like this game. I had pre-ordered it. I played the alpha and the beta a little bit. I started playing it because my friends were playing it, and next thing I know, I'm hooked on it basically. So yeah, it's a lot of fun with friends. If you're doing a solo experience, then yes, you're going to be very annoyed and agitated. If you're trying to min-max everything, or be top 1% on the server, you're not going to have a fun time. If you're looking for like a casual MMO experience and you enjoy playing with other people, doing group events, having a lot of fun in a guild and stuff like that, then yeah, it's definitely a great time. Still a lot of bugs, a lot of things to iron out, but considering it's only been out for a few months and it's progressed a lot more than I was expecting it to, I cannot wait to see what the future brings. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Sorry, I'm a little too busy watching the HCS to actually record a proper outro for this video. My bad. I do hope you enjoyed, and if you want to watch something else, you can watch this video explaining basically how 343 Industries has managed to claw back relevance for Halo Infinite and turn it into what should be the next gaming king. Otherwise, if you need some streaming knowledge, I have this video talking about how the entire rule set for growing a stream and becoming a full-time streamer has changed over the past year and what you need to know to succeed. Hope you have a great holiday and New Year's. Remember, be kind, rewind.